everyone to another episode of the Love Approach Project podcast. This is your host Laura Gutierrez, and today we have a slightly different topic for you, but it's a topic that even though you might think it's only for moms and dads, it's actually for everybody, because what you are going to be learning today, and what I'm going to be learning today too, can be used for the rest of our lives. So my guest today is Natalie Andrew. And Natalie is a hypnobirthing practitioner, childbirth educator. And I had to read that. And Natalie is going to be talking about hypnobirthing today and about the skills that come with that and how to release fear, anxiety, and have a positive birth experience. Natalie is also a mom to Freddy, wife, and the founder of Prepare to Birth. So welcome, Natalie.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. It's so nice that you are here, that you contacted me, because I would have never thought of this topic before you contacted me. And after we chatted, I realized, oh my goodness, it's very important that we have this conversation for both expecting moms and dads and for regular people, you know, also because of the image that we have of birth is one of stress and anxiety and desperation. Right? So it's time to perhaps change that, right, and make an impact. So Natalie, I would love to begin just by asking you how you got into hypnobirthing and how it affected your life positively, and you know what took you to this journey.
If you'd asked me where I'd be a few years ago, I would definitely not have said I'd be a hypnobirth practitioner. I'd never even heard of hypnobirth a few years ago. And I was just very lucky that one day I was at work and I'd announced my pregnancy at work, and a lady stopped me in the corridor and she's like, "Are you going to do hypnobirth?" I was like, "What's that?" She's like, "You have to do hypnobirth, just trust me." I had the most amazing birth. I was falling asleep between contractions. I can't wait to give birth again. I was like, okay, I've never heard anybody talk about birth like that. It was the first time I'd ever heard someone speak about birth positively. And I think up until, if she hadn't stopped me and said that, I think I probably wouldn't have even thought about the birth till I was in it. I would have done zero preparation. I would have just kind of winged it on the day. So I feel very lucky that that I did have that interaction with her. And so I signed up and did the course at 26 weeks. And now I teach hypnobirth because I had such an incredible experience. 2 months after my baby was born, I signed up to start teaching because I just felt like I needed to share these tools with other mums and other birth partners as well.
So how did it change your experience when you gave birth to Freddy?
Yeah, I'd always been quite an anxious person. It got to a point when I was working, I was in quite a high stress job, working in live TV. I actually went to the doctor and said that I had felt like I had something stuck, like a lump in my throat. So I actually had a procedure to check if there was anything there, and there was nothing there. I was completely fine. But he said to me, "It's stress induced. You are having a stress reaction to something in your life." And it was probably work, but there were probably other underlying anxieties and stresses that I hadn't been dealing with. And so when I always thought, you know, when I was pregnant, how am I going to deal with giving birth if I can't even handle day-to-day stresses? You know, it's meant to be this high stress experience. And I was already getting anxious about how I would be on my birthing day. So I was so surprised when I actually did give birth that it was such an incredible experience. I have never been so proud of myself in my life. I just felt so powerful. The pushing part of my labour was absolutely incredible. I just remember I wasn't quiet. I think there's a misconception about hypnobirth that you have to be very quiet.
Yeah.
I was loud, but it wasn't loud as in what you see in movies about women screaming
in pain.
Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't high-pitched
Yeah.
noises that I was making. It was very primal, instinctive, guttural noises that I was making, almost animalistic, I would say.
Wow.
And I just remember, like, after one contraction, my husband just looking at me and going, whoa. And I was like, wow, I just didn't know where that strength came from. I felt so strong. And yeah, I've never felt like that in my life. So yeah, I absolutely loved giving birth. And I just felt like I needed to teach others.
Yeah, spread that message. It's so important. I guess for both men and women, but especially for women, because there is a lot of fear around giving birth.
Yes.
And around pregnancy. What can go wrong and all of that.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of that sits in our subconscious. So when we grow up, all we really see is what we see in TV or what we see in movies with women screaming and writhing around on beds and being rushed, their waters breaking, being rushed to the hospital and, strangling their partners or squeezing their hands. And that's all I had ever seen as well, until I did the hypnobirth course and actually watched positive births. And they were all different. I watched home births, I watched hospital births, but all the women were having an incredible, you could see that they were having a life-changing experience. So yeah, it was awesome.
Beautiful, Natalie. Okay, well, so I would love to talk a little bit now about why do we need to talk about stress and anxiety and fear when it comes to giving birth. Not only giving birth, but throughout pregnancy.
Yeah. I think it's important to know, everyday stress is going to happen. You're going to have ups and downs.
Yeah.
Even when you're pregnant, you can't really avoid it. But I think it's more about being conscious of the stress that you're having in your life and having coping skills to be able to deal with that stress. So as part of hypnobirth, you have to do, you listen to hypnosis tracks as you go to bed each night.
Yeah.
And you do breathing work. It's like a guided meditation that they take you through. So it's a conscious effort to make you slow down and try and turn off that thinking brain and connect back to your body and to your baby. Which is a really, really powerful thing that you're doing each day. So it makes you condition yourself to get rid of that stress and that anxiety, even if it's just for that small moment.
Yeah, I think you just touched on something that is really important, because I would assume that many moms have experienced anxiety and stress in the past.
Yeah.
And for them to know that there's a possibility, an option that they might experience something completely different during the pregnancy and birth is empowering.
Yeah, and I think during pregnancy you tend to, a lot comes up from your own childhood. You start to reflect on your own childhood. You might start thinking about how your parents were with you, but you also might have other fears about, how your relationship might change with your partner, how your life might change when you have a baby, might have financial stresses, all those kinds of things. So the biggest thing that hypnobirth works on is this work around releasing fear, which is something that you don't really do in hospital classes. There's definitely a focus on the physical side of birth, but there's not really a focus on the mental side of birth, and your mind will absolutely be your biggest asset in birth. So being able to deal with those fears and anxieties while you're pregnant is really, really important, and also being able to have coping skills and for anxiety and stress. They're life skills. I still use a lot of the techniques that I used. I found breastfeeding really, really difficult, so I had to go back to my hypnobirth skills to help me through that. Or if you've got a screaming baby, being able to deal with that stress and anxiety, because if you don't deal with it during your pregnancy, it's only going to be exacerbated when you have that baby there. So
of course, wow. So hypnobirthing. What is hypnobirthing?
Yeah, it's probably the hardest question to answer. basically hypnobirth is a fancy word for positive birth. It's a form of childbirth education that helps you condition yourself to get into a calm and relaxed state. And the reason we want to get into a calm and relaxed state is because we know that we produce very different hormones when we're in a calm and relaxed state than if we are in a fight or flight state, and producing adrenaline and those kinds of things. So it uses a few different tools. So there's a whole toolkit of tools, but some of the tools we use are self-hypnosis, acupressure points, visualization, breathing techniques are really important as well. It's also about knowledge, so knowing what your hormones are doing and the role of your hormones, and the physical side of birth, so the different stages of labour and what to expect, how your uterus actually works, which is a really powerful visualization for a lot of my couples. So actually realizing that, you know, you're not just feeling pain for no reason. Your body is working. Your body is working at its full capacity. So yes, you're going to feel something, but being able to go with it rather than resisting it is really, really powerful as well. So tools and knowledge support is really important as well. So knowing the role of your caregivers and being able to select the right caregiver for you, this person that's going to make you feel most safe and comfortable. Fantastic. The role of your partner as well. I think that's the biggest part of hypnobirth, is that we put a big emphasis on your birth partner, because your birth partner, we know that to have a positive birth experience, you need to feel safe and loved and comfortable. And your birth partner knows you better than anybody else, better than any midwife, any obstetrician. They know how to make you feel safe and comfortable. So we give them the tools to help you feel like that. So I think a lot of men or birth partners feel really underutilized. So when we actually empower them and give them skills and say, you know, you are part of this, they love it. I've had so many birth partners walk away and thinking, you know, this course is just for my partner, and then they leave and go, actually, this was for me. Like I can actually help in this process, which is really important. And then it's the preparation as well. So all the preparation that people do, so the hypnosis tracks and things like that they do. It's daily practice. But you know, we say hypnobirth isn't about teaching you how to give birth, because you know how. Your body is built to give birth. You have hormones, you have this instinct to give birth. That's why animals know just how to give birth. But we're the only mammals that have fear around birth. So but what we say about hypnobirth is it's not going to teach you how to give birth. Your body knows how to give birth. It's an instinct. Just like breathing, you don't have to learn how to give birth. Your body knows what to do. It has the hormones, it has everything that it needs. But hypnobirth will teach you how to turn off your mind so your body can do what it needs to do.
Fantastic. Beautiful. And talking about the mind, there are two things that when I was preparing for this interview, I actually learned from you on your website, and it was all about the different kind of brains, let's say, and also mindset. Yes. So can we talk a little bit about those two things? Yeah.
So your brain is in the physical brain, as opposed to your mindset. You know, you have these three parts of your brain. You have the cognitive brain, so your thinking brain, which is you know, stimulated by questions and lights and things like that. You have your limbic brain, so where all your emotions are, and then you have your instinctive or your reptilian brain. And this is your birthing brain. This is where that instinct comes from.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So, but the thing to know is that if you have your cognitive brain and your instinctive brain working at the same time, they inhibit each other. So having that thinking brain going is going to slow down your instinct and your labour. So being able to switch off your thinking brain and go back into yourself and into that zone, into that reptilian brain, your instinctive brain, will help labour progress. So that's what we teach in hypnobirth.
Oh, that's fantastic. I had no idea about that.
And it's also about the fight or flight response. So what we're doing through hypnobirth is trying to teach women about the fight or flight response and what happens when you get into that fight or flight, what happens to your body. Every thought that you're having will have a physical effect on your body. So if you think about, if you're giving you're public speaking, what happens to your body?
Yes.
You get tense, you might sweat, you might stumble over your words, you clench your fist.
Yeah.
So imagine giving birth in that state.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
A bit difficult.
Yes, exactly. So that is what we are trying to avoid.
Yeah.
We are teaching you to stay calm and relaxed so that your body is open. We know with the fight or flight response, what happens is that blood and oxygen goes to your limbs so that you can run away.
Yeah.
But your uterus is not part of that escape mechanism. So that blood and oxygen goes to your arms and legs so you can run away, and goes away from your uterus. And what is your uterus? It's a muscle. So what does your muscle need? Oxygen and blood. So you really want to be working with those hormones to avoid that fight or flight response. And adrenaline isn't a bad hormone. We actually need adrenaline later in the pregnancy to help you push. You actually get a shot of adrenaline as you get to the pushing stage of labour, which is often when it's called transition. It's often when most women want to give up. They will ask for drugs.
Wow.
I asked for gas. I said I can't do it. I'm too tired. And that's the adrenaline that's sparking that fight or flight response. But it's what you need to help you push. But up until that point, we teach partners how to help stimulate your endorphins. So your natural pain relievers, which are 20 to 40% more powerful than morphine. So, and that's why that's why I was on such a high after my birth. They peak as you give birth. You'll never have them as high as they are when you give birth. So, yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's very interesting how our bodies are made for these very important moments, and how important the role of the partner is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I find this beautiful and fascinating, and it helps us return to, okay, we can use our own nature to help us go through this process if we learn how to let go of like the thinking mind or the anxiety or fear mind-based.
Yeah, and trusting in your body as well. And they say what gets the baby in gets the baby out. So love. So being held by your partner, kissing during labour, it helps stimulate oxytocin. So oxytocin is your love hormone, and that's what makes the uterus contract. So you need lots of oxytocin going. So that's what we help the partner to.
Lots of kisses.
Partners. Massage as well. It's all to make you feel safe and comfortable, because you think on the toilet, if someone just burst in on you on the toilet, what are you going to do? You're going to tense up.
Of course,
so we're trying to keep you feeling safe and comfortable so that you can open and release.
Safe and comfortable, lovely. And so what is the role of mindset in that?
So I think mindset is about, it's kind of a reset. So if you've always only seen the negative sides of birth, it's about kind of challenging that, because I think a lot of women just, they hear the stories that people tell them, they see what they see on TV, and we don't really see the positive ever. So, and I was part of that, because I, even when I had a positive birth experience, I went to my mother's group, and we went around the room and everyone shared their birth stories. And I really played my birth story down, because I just didn't want to upset anybody. And so I played it down. And then I thought about it and said, no, that's not right, because why should I not share my story? And I feel like I only had my birth experience because someone shared with me about their positive birth experience.
Of course,
so I ended up writing my birth story and sharing it with people, and then also becoming a hypnobirth teacher to share it as well. So it's about resetting your mindset around birth, around positive birth. And there's so many resources out there. There's amazing birth stories on the Hypnobirth Australia website, and they're all different types of birth. There's, cesarean birth, induction births, breech births, really high complication births, but they're all positive. And I think one of the activities I get my couples to do is to actually write down what is a positive birth to you. And
beautiful.
When you read them, they have nothing to do with the type of birth. No one writes a natural drug-free birth.
Yeah.
It's all about how they want to feel, and that's what's so important. It's your mindset. So, you know, I want to feel powerful. I want to feel like I'm making decisions. I want to feel safe. I want to feel comfortable.
Beautiful.
But yeah.
Well, and actually talking about this, one of my clients is now pregnant, and when we were talking about this interview, she said, "Oh, I would love to know how I can have like a strong, being strong in my mind, throughout pregnancy and delivery."
Yeah, we use a few different tools in Hypnobirth. I think the things that helped me the most were the hypnosis tracks. So there's 2 hypnosis tracks. One is around called the Surge of the Sea, and it compares contractions like a wave. So going up to the peak of a wave and going back down to the other side. And then you've got another one called Rainforest Dreaming, which uses heart chakras and things like that, which is really beautiful as well. Awesome. So doing those each night, helping to condition myself to get into a calm and relaxed state very quickly. So I got to a point where I would hear that and I was straight away back into that zone.
State. Yeah.
We also use affirmations, so positive affirmations for birth, such as I am calm, my baby is calm, my baby's the right size for my body, all those kinds of things. Because I remember when I was in labour, the nurse checking me to check the heartbeat, and I knew my baby was safe because I'm calm, my baby is calm, so I just knew. So positive affirmations are really powerful, and reading positive birth stories. So surrounding yourself with positive birth stories. They're out there. We've heard enough of the negative.
Yes.
I think you've.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to listen to that anymore. And it's open yourself up to the positive that's out there. And also just knowledge and you know, asking questions. So asking your caregivers, what is your cesarean rate? What is your induction rate? You can say no. Saying no to things as well is really empowering. So I have a lot of mums saying, "Oh, can I give birth in that position, or can I do that?" You can do whatever you want. It's your
body, right?
It is your body. It is your birth. So people they go into their birth with a real patient mentality that you know, the doctors or the midwives will just tell me what to do. But if you go in knowing that you just know what to do, you'll have a very, very different experience.
This is such a beautiful conversation because I'm sure it's going to empower many women that are either pregnant already or women that are thinking of having a baby, and couples, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because definitely I do believe, and not only for birth, but for like our general day-to-day life, we need to change the, one of my mentors says, like, scratch the record, you know, just like, we need to change the story and learn a different one, a positive one that actually supports us.
Yes.
And so this is the perfect example for that.
Well, I think that's why we do so much work on the subconscious. So that's why we use hypnosis. And I think Hypnobirth, the name, kind of throws a lot of people off. They maybe think, am I gonna cluck like a chicken, or like what are they using hypnosis for? But hypnosis is a very normal state of mind. We all go through hypnosis as we wake up and as we fall asleep. We go through this through the hypnotic state. We also, if you've ever been driving, you know, you're driving along and suddenly you're like, how did I get here? That's a form of hypnosis. So hypnosis is a very natural state of mind.
Natalie, so why do you think your work is important? How are you creating an impact here?
I think just by knowing that there is an alternative, that there is a positive option for birth, and knowing that it's not just about the type of birth. So whether you're having a vaginal birth or a drug-free birth or a cesarean, it's about how you feel, and if you feel empowered and you have knowledge and you have tools to help you through that.
I love that. Yes. I think tools, it's such a it's something that we talk a lot about in the podcast here, or I talk about with my guests, because it's about that. It's about giving others tools, right, that they can use.
Yeah, so true.
For your day to day.
Yeah, because I have mums who are like, I'm just going to go in and have an epidural and that's it. I'm like, that's fine, that's awesome, that's your choice. That's what it's all about, having choice.
Yeah.
But knowing, you know, sometimes epidurals don't work.
Yeah.
So what other skills do you have if the epidural doesn't work? Because that's when you might get the fight or flight response. If it doesn't work and you're panicked, and then you've got no other alternatives. So, you know, having some other coping skills to get you through that, and your partner as well. So
beautiful. What is your favorite part of your work?
I just love working with couples. It's and seeing the connection between them. And it's such a special time in their lives that they're about to create a human being, just from being in love. And also just being able to see the transformation in them as well. So they always come in very skeptical. Like, what is this hypnobirth? Especially the partner. They're like, where am I? Like, what is going to happen in this session? And they all leave. It's like an awakening. They go, oh, okay, I can actually be active in my birth. I don't have to be a passive participant in my birth. So they realize there are things that they can be doing. And I love seeing that awakening.
That's amazing. I think that creates a huge impact in our world. And And I assume that there are lots of beautiful positive effects for the babies too. Yes. Right?
So there's not really been a study done on hypnobubs, but what you generally hear about hypnobubs is that there's something different about them, that they generally don't lose weight after birth. It's quite common for babies to lose weight after birth. They tend to sleep through the night quicker, and they tend to call them easier babies. But again, there's no real evidence around it. But yeah, you would think that if mum is in a calm and relaxed state, then baby will also be in a calm and relaxed state and have a gentler entrance to the world.
That is so beautiful. And for parents to be able to do that, well, for them, during that very important time of their lives. And for the baby to assure let's say a relaxing enter into this world.
Exactly.
So Natalie, what is the before and after that you have seen, like from people perhaps that come from very stressful environments, they're about to have a baby, they come to you?
Yeah, I had one mum that really sticks in my mind. She, her partner actually found me and told me she'd been having anxiety, and not just about birth. She'd had anxiety, general anxiety in her life, and I didn't realise how bad her anxiety was till actually after she did the course, and she sent me a message and she said, I had so much anxiety around birth that I actually considered not having kids. So that's how high her anxiety about birth was. She actually ended up having a condition with the baby called vasa previa, which only heightened her anxiety. And so, after doing the course, she sent me the most incredible message and just said she's never felt so empowered. She said, I now have the knowledge and the tools and the support to get through this, and I feel confident. She gained a confidence that she never had before. And she went on to have a really beautiful birth. So, seeing those transformations in people are incredible. And it has nothing to do with me. I'm just the facilitator. I'm just giving them the tools and the techniques. It's a journey that they are going on for themselves. And it's so beautiful to see.
That is quite an impact, Natalie. And I'm sure that many other hypnobirthing practitioners around Australia and the world are also making an impact. But helping someone go from an anxious, stressed state through an event as big as giving birth is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, and it only makes them a better mother as well. Like I was saying before, having those coping skills for stress and anxiety, having them there as you enter motherhood, and entering motherhood with confidence makes a big difference as well.
Yeah, of course. So to all the moms to be out there, or the women and partners wanting to have kids, I think maybe you can give this a go.
Yeah. I just think, what have you got to lose? Like,
yes, exactly.
Why would you not want to open yourself up to the possibility of a positive birth experience?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Of changing, of changing life, really. Right?
Yeah,
and
changing your mindset.
Yeah, changing your mindset, changing your perspective.
Yeah.
For sure. Lovely. Well, Natalie, I think we've come to the end. Well, not really. I'm going to ask you one more question, actually. The customary question at the Love Approach for the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's, how do you approach life with love, Natalie?
I think with my courses we talk a lot about releasing and letting go. And I think I do that. I'm very open, and I make quite strong connections with the couples that I teach. So, and I think that's all facilitated by love. Like, there's no other event in your life where you'll experience the amount of love that you do when you give birth.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I love being able to be part of that, and yeah, it's opened me up to a love that I never knew that I could have, and a passion that I never knew I could have in my life as well. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. How awesome. Yeah, I did that. And Natalie, I'm sure that some people would love to contact you, so where can they find you?
So I teach Hypnobirth courses on Sydney's Northern Beaches. So I teach private and group courses, and also online if you're interstate or overseas. My website's preparedtobirth.com.au. My Instagram's @preparedtobirth, so just send me a message.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I also know that you have a little present.
Yeah, and I'm offering 10% discount off all of my group and private courses for anyone listening to the podcast.
Fantastic. So you just need to say, I listened to the Love Approach for Life podcast, and you get that 10%.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, Natalie, thank you so much for for having opened us, to this topic. I am very happy to have chatted with you. Yeah. And let's keep chatting about this.
Yeah.
Right?
It was so lovely to meet you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
No, my pleasure. Okay, so thank you to all our listeners and to all the people who are watching the videos. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.